This is Baby's First Colors. This is a concept book that helps with the recognition of colors. It's a really simple book, one-to-one connections on each page. It has the color orange and a couple of different things. One on each page, the color orange and red. Very good for young children as they're first learning colors. Brown. It continues on with different colors. There's also a board book, so it's really nice because it's very sturdy. This is really good for the cognitive development because it has the one-to-one connection with the colors and what they're representing. So I think that's really good, and it helps children learn colors. Like there's many different colors that this book shows, and it's really good to help children learn those connections. The next book is Merry-Go-Round, a book about nouns by Ruth Heller. This is also a concept book that helps with informative. It's all about nouns. So this is a book to help kids learn about nouns, and I'll read a few pages of it. It's really good because it helps them. They're not only learning about nouns, which is one of the different children's learn their language, but they're learning words as well, because this book introduces words and has some nice rhyming in it too. Nouns name a person, place, or thing. A damsel, a horse, a dragon, a king. These nouns are all common, and they're very nice, but proper nouns are more precise. King Arthur is this person, and this place is Camelot. Proper nouns are capitalized. Common nouns are not. Abstract nouns each name a thought, a notion, or an emotion. Hope and love and chivalry, courage and devotion, justice, truth, and courtesy, and other nouns we cannot see. Concrete nouns can be seen and touched, tasted and smelled and heard. Persimmons and grapes and onions and pears, and the beautiful song of a bird. Compound nouns are more than one word. Countdown is joined together. Space age is separated. And so it just continues on with the examples of different words and some really fun language that the kids will enjoy saying. And so I think this is just a really good book to introduce that, introduce this type of language to the kids, in their case nouns, and how to name how something is named and how that works. It talks about plurals in here as well, about how to make a word plural, and a lot of other concepts that come with having nouns. So I think this is just a really good book to do that. It also could be entertaining to the kids because it has very good illustrations, very colorful, and the kids, I think it's really good for the kids to look at it and see, and it goes very well with the book as well. So my last book in concept books is The Tiny Seed by Eric Crane, and this book it's a narrative. It tells this little story. This one, as you can see by the title, can deal with sizes. It talks about the tiny seed. It talks about seeds that are larger than it. And so I think this book is really good to introduce that concept of difference in size. So I'll read a little bit of it. It is autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds higher in the air and carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the others. Will it be able to keep up with the others? And where are they all going? One of the seeds flies higher than the others. Up, up it goes. It flies too high and the sun's hot rays burn it up. But the tiny seed sails on with the others. Another seed lands on a tall and icy mountain. The ice never melts and the seed cannot grow. The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed does not go as fast as the others. Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and drowns. The others sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. One seed drifts down into the desert. It is hot and dry, and the seed cannot grow. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with the others. So it continues, there's different concepts. You see high and low, you see wet and dry, and so you see some opposites as well. So this is also a good book to start teaching opposites as well as size, because you have the tiny seed and you have bigger seeds. And it continues on in the rest of the story. The seeds finally land, and as they start to make roots, well, then all of a sudden a big weed pops up, and it takes sunlight and rain. Another one of the flower seeds start to bloom, and then it gets trampled on. One of the other flower seeds start to bloom, and by the time it has 7 seeds, the little one only had 3 leaves, and then the bigger one bloomed, and somebody picked it. But once the little seed finally sprouted a sprout, it continued growing and growing and growing until it became the tallest flower that had ever been seen. It also goes through different seasons. You can talk about different seasons, and in this page it talks about all the birds and bees and butterflies that come to visit the flower because they've never seen such a big and beautiful flower before. And so it starts out, you see this tiny seed at the very beginning of the story has now turned into this big and beautiful flower. So with this book, definitely can be connected to cognitive, but also language. Cognitive because you're talking about different sizes, you're making those connections, big, small, also the opposites, high, low, wet, dry, and the other ones that it gives in the book. Then also it's language because, again, you're introducing those words. And so those are kind of like hand in hand with the cognitive and language, because you have to understand the difference between what big and small are. And again, you're learning those words. What's big? What is small? So I think that's really good. Now, an activity you can do with all these books for the literate elements would be the setting. This book takes place outside, and it takes place over a different variety of areas and climates. And so this would be a really good book to discuss and go over the different types of climates. It showed an ocean, it showed a desert, it showed an icy mountain. So this is different places. It talks about different times of year. It talked about winter. When snow came. It talked about spring, when the snow was melting and children come out to play. And they talked about summer. And so there's sort of types you could talk about with setting. Is all those different times have to do with what is outside, and it would be, I think, a really good activity to start learning about the different seasons, about the different climates, and so that's something you could do with settings.